Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Thank you. My name is John McLauchlan. Thank you for joining us today. We are live. Tonight is Thursday night. It's time for Tech Talk. If you're joining for the first time, thank you for joining us. We are here. Let me know in the chat if audio is good. I'm looking at all the specs, all the layouts. I've got a lot going on today, so let's get into it. So last week, if you remember, we talked about some of my ultimate desires, goals, aspirations, and we discussed the new Blackmagic cameras, the new switcher that they just came out with. And I've had a little bit more time to take a look at them. I am liking what I see. And with hello, Jeff. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. And of course, Jeff starts the show right out with sarcasm. It's Thursday, March 2nd. Yes, we do know it's March 2nd. Can you believe it's March 2nd? It is, this year is gearing up to be one of the busiest years. And not just because of my vast things of what I'm doing, but just the different things that I want to do, the different things I've got going on, and just having that feeling that this year is going to be, one, it's going to be a good year, and two, it's going to fly by really fast. And it's the third month of the year. One quarter of the one quarter of the year is almost over already. So, at the end of the month, we'll be already into the second quarter. And that's just hard to believe. So, this year is flying by. Yes, it is. So, last week we discussed Blackmagic's came out, but I had some stuff pop up. And some of you may know, and we have discussed this on the channel before, about how we all have this desire to control everything from the get-go. We want to be able to control multiple things at the same time. And if you look at my layout, I control a lot at the tip of my fingertips. And I have a lot of different equipment. I've got a lot of different pieces working together to make all that work. We are actually gearing up this week to rearrange the whole setup to try to get a second working camera at all times, as well as make it so that it's a little bit more functional. This setup has worked great for what it was, but it's kind of reaching its limits, and I want to be able to change up some things, make some things new. So I will actually be ripping this setup out, rearranging it, hopefully do a little bit better on the cable management side of things. And I've actually watched a bunch of videos this week on just setups. Now, most of the setups I watched are gaming setups. They're not really video setups, but same concept. You have a lot more wires, you got a lot more connections, but at the end of the day, if you do it right, you can actually make it functional and look neat. So, and that's not one of my strong points. I'll be straight up with you on that, but I'm trying to do a little bit better, and hopefully that will happen. And as we go, I will take videos of it and give you an update once it's all done. Hopefully, I don't destroy the whole setup to a point where I can't go live next week, but we'll cross that bridge when it shows up. So last week we talked about black magic, but we also talked about this desire that I have to create a AV truck, or some people call it OB truck. Basically, it's a truck that I can build and equip and put things in. And so I said I would start designing it. I'd start thinking about the process and thinking about things. So we will be discussing that tonight. So if you got any questions, any thoughts, any desires that you think would fit into it, feel free to chime in on the chat and we'll go from there. Now, before I get into that side of things, let me say real quick, if this is your first time, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Like the videos, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell, simply because that will let you know when we go live. If we go live any other time besides Thursday evenings, we go live, we try our best to go live every Thursday night. 8 o'clock Central Time, so that's 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. So, yeah. Jeff made this comment. He goes, "Glad I didn't have to harass you every day to get that project planned out." I will. Funny thing is, he sent me a text literally 3 seconds after we got off the air. I think it was about 3 seconds last week. Literally, I got a text. My phone lit up, and it was Jeff going, "Hey, have you started the planning yet?" So it was hilarious. Now, I will be honest with you. I have not. It's not an exhaustive plan yet. It's designed. The concept is there. I know some of the gear I want to put in it, but we'll get into that in just a minute. But one of the funny thing is, I've been wanting to plan one of the most frustrating things about black magic is the number of connections you can have and control surfaces. So I'm going to show you this. Let me cut to this. So this is the black magic. Let me get into the frame. This is the black magic software. If you know the black magic software, my camera seems to be a little too high. Got like 50 miles of headroom. As a video engineer, I should know better. Anyway, so what you're looking right now is the black magic software. It's what you use to control all of their switchers. Depending on which switcher you have hooked up, will determine what the look of the control surface looks like. And this runs on Mac, PC, Linux. I think it runs on Linux. And you can control your switchers via the control software. This is called the ATEM control software. Now, one of the most frustrating things is they have 4 tabs here. They got the media, they got audio, and they got camera. Now, in all fairness, on the camera side, if you don't have Blackmagic cameras, this really doesn't come into play. You have to have a Blackmagic camera, and that could be the pocket cinemas, the broadcast cameras, the studio cameras. But if you don't have that, this page really doesn't give you much. But if you do have that Blackmagic camera, this definitely comes into play. Now, but you definitely can use audio. Audio is both built into the camera, is built into all the audio devices. You've got complete control of your Fairlight they built into the ATEMs the Fairlight audio console. So this is where you would control it. This is your media. So if I was going to change my bug and wanted to bring in, so change my bug during the show to my name, I could do that. I just literally covered up my face with that bug. Let me do this and take it off. But the point being is, if you wanted to do that, this is the page you would do that. And then if you wanted to switch from the software, you'd be on this page. So one of the frustrating things that a lot of developers have been complaining about is, and engineers have been complaining about, is you can't open up multiple copies of this software, and so you're having to either, if you want your media source open, if you want your audio source open, you would literally have to have 3 different computers, one with each tab. Well, that gets cumbersome. That fills up your desks, and and if you're a one-man band, it kind of makes it hard. So, and it's been frustrating to me for the longest time. So the other night I was just doing some random searching. I said, okay, has anyone come up with a way to make it so that you can open up multiple copies of the software and get going? So someone actually did. Someone actually came up with a way to open up the software. So I have a icon right here, which you can see, and it's the ATEM software control. Basically this. Now if I double click on this, nothing happens because it's already open. So what happens? But wait, look at this. You can't see it very well, but I've got 2 copies of it. So how do I have 2 copies open? I have 2 copies. And the best part about it is you can have 2 different tabs open at the same time. So how does this work? So this is a workaround that people have discovered. Actually, it's been around for quite a while. I just never found it until the other night. So apparently, if you want to control your ATEM switchers and have your media tab open so you can change your bugs on the fly, if you want, maybe you want your audio open on one so you can adjust your audio, and then you want to switch on the other. Or for some people, they just want, you're running 2 ATEMs. So if you're running 2 ATEMs, you can set one ATEM to your primary, the other ATEM software to the secondary ATEM, and now you can control both ATEMs at the same time. Up until this point, I had to literally change my connection to be able to control the software. So this is why I am stoked about finding this solution, because I now have 2 options. So going back to the original question, how do you get around doing this? So I'm going to close both of these because I can't tell which one's which. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up one license first and just come up, and hopefully this will not screw with the stream. Now, prior to this point, what you need to do is you need to create a secondary user on the account, on your PC. Let me stop right there and put a caveat into this. This only works on PCs. They have not figured out a workaround with the Macs yet. I have read that people in the Mac world are trying to get Blackmagic to come up with a solution to do this. And one of the things that frustrates a lot of the users who've been around with Blackmagic for years is everything up until version 3 of the control surface, you were able to open up as many copies of this software as you wanted. So it's not something that has never been there. This is something that's been there that they took away with version 4, and no one knows why. So that's why a lot of people have been trying to figure out the workaround. So what you need to do is let me open up my things here. Make sure that okay. Make sure I don't have anything pertinent over here. So under your account settings on the PC, you want to add a second account. Now, this is an account that will take up space on your computer, but you're not going to use it for anything. So you're not going to be building up a lot of space, but it will take up some space. So as long as you have enough space on your computer to host another user, create a local user. Does not have to be a Microsoft account user. Does not have to have an email. It can be just a local account, but create a second account on that with a password. Make sure it's password protected, but making it a secondary. I just created an ATEM account. So once you have that done, once you've got a secondary account set up, right? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna come over to your ATEM software right here. And then you're gonna hold down your shift key on the PC, on your keyboard. While holding down shift, you're gonna right click on your ATEM software and try not moving. Now, what you get is you get this little option right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it says run as different user. Now, to prove that that's hidden is if you just right click on your ATEM software control, you have run as administrator, but you do not have run as different user. So once again, we're going to hold shift, right click on the ATEM software, and now you have run as different user. Click on that. It's going to bring up your Windows security. Enter the username of the account with the password. Hit OK, and boom, it opens up a second copy of the license of the software. Now, is there a limit to how many of these you can have on there? I don't know. I did not actually. I've only done one extra. But in theory, if this works and you've got a big enough computer that you don't mind using extra space for extra users, and there is no limitation to how many, the software won't kick you off, then we can try multiple users. Now, I will give you a caveat. Another caveat to the ATEM software is a Blackmagic design has been known to limit the number of connections to their switchers. Don't know if they have worked those bugs out, and if that bug works on all of their software and all their switchers. But I have been warned that there is that bug, so potentially if we load up too many of these programs, we could time out the connection and will be hosed on the back end, because once you time that out, that is a no-go and you can't do that. So, with that being said, you now can have multiple setups and multiple connections to your ATEM control surface for that. Which, for me, I am extremely excited about that, because now I can have when I do dual streams, I can have both ATEM softwares up and running on my computer, showing me both ATEMs, and be able to, if I need to do a software key switch, I can do that, but mainly so that I can monitor the streams, monitor the records, and all of that good stuff. So it definitely helps having that flexibility. So that's the tip of the day, is the ATEM control software. So now we get into the nitty gritty, the planning of the JAmemories AV truck. What did Jeff say? Yeah, Blackmagic uses Apple on all their computers on livestream. Yes, they actually do, but it goes beyond just they use their Apple. They are a big proponent of using Apple as the backbone for everything Blackmagic. If you go to their booth, all of their machines are running on on Apple computers. They optimize their softwares for Apple. So, but yet, if you think about it, Windows has a workaround because of the multiple users key, and having that you can log in on a PC with multiple users at the same time. So I don't think it's I think it's more of a workaround that Windows allows, rather than something that Blackmagic wants everybody to be aware of. So they would prefer, and I don't know the theory behind why, but they would prefer everyone only has one software control open on each device. And that might be to keep the connection number under control. I really don't know, but that's something that I am going to be having a conversation with Blackmagic about that at NAB. So, Mac is better anyway. IMO. I don't know what IMO is, but Mac does have a better I wouldn't say a better operating system. They have a better reputation for not failing and crashing. Plus, they're a lot more secure and less apt to getting a lot less get viruses and things like that. Just need to be able to use iPad, iPhone to instead of computer. I believe they actually have an ATEM software control for the iPad. You just have to be on the same network. I don't know if that is the case. Let's actually look that up real quick. Oh. Yeah, so it doesn't work. So the solution for the Mac, and actually this works. Hold wonder, do you have mixed effects? So there's a computer. There's a software. No, there isn't. All right. So this software. Um, Let me go here. So this software, Mix Effect, that software will actually connect to the A10 with a little bit of configurations. You can control the A10 software. And yeah, Jeff is saying right there, there are other apps, but not Blackmagic. No, Blackmagic, they're not into the app development stage, and with all the things out there, you would think that they would come up with something that allows them. Now, I'm not advocating for mix effect, but if you want to, I mean, it's a $50 purchase, and if you really want to control it through your iPad, iPhone, that is an option. That way, but I don't use iPhones, so I would need something on the Android side. And again, I can put that on my list of things that I need to ask. But anyway, so yeah, so I understand the frustration about that, but at the same time, it comes back to the control of their software as well as maintaining user ability. They are expanding their workflows, they are expanding into the remote world, but there are some things being left behind that just are not there. Okay, so let's jump into the OB truck thing. So before we jump into the actual design, I want to talk about what I'm using to create my diagrams, my layouts, all my wire diagrams and things. There's a program called AV Snap. Now, AV Snap is a computer. Jeff just asked a question I'll get to in just a second. So, AV Snap is a program that allows you to do complete wire diagrams. It does a very good job of keeping track of your wires. It does a very good job of actually, if you put the metadata in for the equipment, they'll give you a price list out. They'll tell you how many connections, how many cables runs you have to run. And if you do the scaling correctly, they'll actually tell you roughly how long of cables you need. So I like AV Snap. I've been using AV Snap now for it's 22, about 4 to 5 years. I found AV Snap back, I think it was around 2017 when I was building the HD upgrade for Richard Roberts Ministries. So I like it. It's free to use, and you can import libraries, build libraries of equipment so you can reuse them. So let's go to Jeff's question because it's a good place to start. So it became a truck, not a trailer. So I've been thinking about the whole concept of an OB truck, an OB trailer, AV truck, AV trailer. And one of the things that I wanted to make and do was have a way of transporting this that would not be too cumbersome. So the idea of an OB truck made more sense. Now, I will start by saying all of this is just concept. It's not like I have the budget for this. It's not like I have the money for this. Um, if someone wanted to donate the money, and I walked away with the money right now, I have a rough idea, a very good idea of what would be and how it all play out. I'm anticipating over the next few weeks continuing to work on this concept, work on the diagrams, and I've been putting a lot of effort to figure out exactly what I want in there. And so the only thing I have right now, and I apologize that it's not much, but the one thing I do have for you guys today is this diagram. Let me take that off. I know you guys can't read anything because it's so small. But so this is a 26-foot truck. An OB truck is can be any length, but this one is 26 foot from the cab all the way to the back of the truck is 26 foot. The reason I went with a 26-foot box truck is simply because a 26-foot box truck is the largest truck anyone can drive without a CDL license. Now, there are weight limitations to a 26-foot box truck, so everything I build into the truck has to stay within that limitation. So I'll zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see. So this is, so a standard 26-foot truck is 8 foot wide by 26 feet. So with that limitation, this is the layout that I would, this is how I would do it. Jeff is asking, am I doing a two-seater or a 4 or 5 seat cab? I don't know yet. My wife would love it if I can do a 4 seat cab. We actually just talked about that the other night. She was a little worried that if I did do this, would not have any way of bringing the family without them driving. So it depends on the truck, and see what's available. I actually have some concepts that we'll look at here in just a little bit that might curb how I do this. But so just remember this side, with the little wheel here, this is cab side. So we're going from cab, zooming in too much, all the way down to the back of the truck where the door is right here. This software doesn't have a very good way of drawing doors, at least not that I've seen, so I just have openings right now. So, but we'll start at the cab side. Engineering, this is where videotape is, shading control, things like that. That is where that goes. Right next to that would be your engineering. Right next to engineering would be audio. Okay, audio takes up a bunch of space because they've got a big audio board, and then they also have to be secluded from main control. So I'm putting a door on the side of the truck to so that there's easy access into audio and engineering. Now, I have seen some trucks that have another door right here on the side that goes into the main control area. The main control area is where you have your switchers, your TD, your AD, your director, and then also you have your... So what I'm going to do is have engineering back here where shading is. Audio would have an audio board right here in the middle on this wall, and then have extra space so that they could do, if they needed to, some VOs or voiceovers or talent record there. Main control, this wall right here that merges between, that would be where your video wall is. Your control room monitors, everything, all the monitors. So you'd have 2 to 3 seats. You'd have your TD, who's actually doing, your technical director, who's actually doing the shading. No, not shading. They are doing the. I am looking the opposite direction. I need to figure out why that is. It's like I'm off kilter. Anyway, the things you learn when you do stuff like this. Let me move myself over here so it actually looks like I'm paying attention. All right. Now I'm actually looking at the project and actually looking at the diagram, at least from your perspective. So right here is your main control area. So your master control. TD, director. So at least 2 seats, maybe 3. Then back here, right here, you would have another desk, a short desk, that holds your graphics and your AD. And that's the kind of the thought behind the functionality. Engineering, I don't know if anyone's actually going to be working back there, if the shading is actually going to be done in engineering or up in main control. Now, what are some of the concepts behind this idea? Number one is a trailer this large, one person can't do everything. Not that a major production should be done with one person, but you're definitely, if you separate main control from audio and engineering, you can't do everything yourself. So if you were going with the model of, hey, it's a one-man band, everything is done by one person, then at that point it's like, okay, you're really putting yourself in a bind having a large truck like this. So I would go with a 14-foot truck, put everything together in one room in the main control area. So you'd have, in that case, we're going to look at this just right here. Okay, so main control, just like before, you would have your main control on the long wall. You'd have audio back here, and your CG operator would probably be, well, if it's one person, it's all wrapped up in this L-shaped area. So, believe me, I've done it. You can do it. It's possible to operate a 4-camera switcher and do all that, which I haven't even told you what I want to do. So that is the design for the truck. So one thing that I've been doing the last couple of days is looking at what's actually out there for trucks. So this just popped up in my mailbox today. Main Concept is a seller here in town, and they have a 26-foot box truck available for sale. Now it says it's rack ready. What that means is there is no active gear, but the racks are already in place, the desks are already in place, so you kind of get a layout, a somewhat layout, but you still have some work to do. The equipment needs to be put in and stuff like that. So looking real quick, the nice thing about this truck, let's look at these pictures up close. So you've got your two doors to separate your room. Let's actually go back real quick and see if we can get to, yeah, let's look at this real quick first. So I'm assuming that this is cab side right here. I'm assuming, just because of the way the truck was, but I could be wrong. This is cab side, because you have your two doors here and then the cab up here. So you've got video racks here. You've got a solid wall, a thick solid wall right here, separating A1, which is your audio, and your direct TD and producer. So the three seats are there. You know, I mean, TD is the one switching, director is the one calling the shots, and producer, he's usually at this point just sitting down, taking notes, making sure that the flow of information is being done. Then you have behind them, you have graphics. Typically what happens is you have a desk right here facing the video walls, so the graphics and the relay person can see the video walls, multi-viewers and things like that. Sometimes they'll flip it, so they're actually looking at a video wall right here where they have their own multi. Replay, basically is just that. In an OB sports truck, you'll have an instant replay person who's getting highlight reels, things like that. They're putting it together real quick for instant replays and commercial breaks and things like that. You have engineering back here, and then you have your shading station where EIC could also be your videotape. And then, of course, audio, A1, is the one doing all the audio. Depending on what you're doing, are you doing just for the broadcast? Are you doing for room? Are you doing streaming as well? You may actually have to have two audio people. One for the main production, one for the streaming. It all comes down to what you're trying to do. So this is the concept behind a 26-foot box truck. So this truck in particular, you got your two side doors, you got easy access to all of your ports, and this is a back view, so you can get on top of the rack where the AC units are. And no, I'm not looking to buy this truck. This is just a concept of what and this is a perfect example of what I was looking for. So yes, and then this is your generator access. On an OB truck, you have to have a generator in case house power fails. And then of course the next few are just the cab itself, mileage. So this is what you call an IO panel. In OB truck, you have to have an IO panel, because if you don't, then you can't. You're running cables through walls, and you have a chance of breaking it. So what you do is you have snakes that run from the venue to the panel, and all the panel runs to everything inside the truck. So there's no wires actually hanging out of the truck. Everything is disconnected at the end of the day, and so they've got video up here. They've got fiber right here, data, and it looks like internet, and then the fiber. I think this is simply fiber. It looks like fiber. Can't really get in there. It looks to me like fiber. It could be triax, but it looks like fiber. And then they have audio. So they've got things labeled intercom, IFB, and then audio patch ins and outs. So for those who don't know, intercom is the communication between the truck and the camera operators. IFB is talking truck to the talent. So the talent will be wearing headsets in their ears. Typically, they look like the little Secret Service ear things. And that way the truck can talk to the talent going, okay, we're going on air in 5, 4. They can give them countdown. They'll be able to tell them, okay, we're going to break here in the next 5 seconds. Wrap it up, or whatever it is. So that's what an IFB. Sometimes if they're doing an interview set, they'll feed the communication down IFB so that the talent can hear what the other person on the interview set is doing. Because one thing you don't want to do is have speakers set up so that you interfere with the mic and you get a reverb thing. So having it the IFB on to talk with everybody is ideal, and all of the other stuff. So that's basically your I/O panel. And yes, we would have to build that into our truck. A very ugly generator, but if the generator works, the generator works. So now this is actually in the truck. Now we get actually into the truck. This looks like to me the producer's panel. This is where the producer, the TD is, the director, and then the producer. This is your power converter and your power interface for the whole truck. This is that overhead rack, and then on the other side of that would be where audio is. This is engineering, where the racks were on the diagram. And you have your, I think this was EIC and shading. That's what they would be. And there's a side view of that. And this is audio. So this is where the audio is. This is where audio, you can see the audio snake right here. And then the other side of that rack. The only thing I don't like about this is you don't have, this is not all encased. So the noise from audio would feed into the TD and director's position, and the same thing with the TD and directors. So it's not solid. Now they may have done that for airflow. I don't know, but that's one thing that I would be concerned about, is the fact that you can hear the directors and producers in audio, and you would potentially have a problem hearing the mix. That looks like to me the generator case in that one room. I'm not really sure what this is. I'm not sure what that is. Alright, so now this is actually everything in place. You've got your TD over here. You've got your director. And then you got your producer. So, and then the two multi-viewers. I'm not really sure what system they're running in that. Looks like, I'm not even sure. New type maybe. Again, this is supposed to be shading, but I see no way of shading anything. And this is EIC. So I'm not really sure where they consider shading. And then here's a picture of the audio board with his multi-view, so that he knows what he's doing. So yeah, so that is one concept of an OB truck. And now you can fit all of this in a trailer. I actually have a vendor in town who actually, they don't build it themselves. They have people help build. They actually have people help build the trailers, but at the same time, they have contracted stuff to it. The other concept, and then this goes into the question that Jeff asked earlier, is what about the family? Well, here's the second one I just found today, but I think would solve that problem. So this is a different option. This is actually a mobile home that's been converted into an OB truck. It's called a mobile. It's just a thing. There you go. It's a motorhome with an OB truck in town. So they have I/O panel door at the right side. So all your in and out stuff that we saw at that one panel, that's all right there. So that would be right about here. So, and this is, it just looks like a regular motorhome. But once you get, and then the nice thing I like about it is it does have a slide out, which gives you a little bit more space. So here's your in and out panel. It's very basic. It looks like they don't have any fiber or triax. So now this is supposed to come. This one actually is equipped. So I don't know, but this is not wired triax or fiber. So depending on what you're doing would determine that. They've got SDI up here, same thing down here. And unfortunately, I can't read any of the labeling that they have. Audio in, audio out. Now this is another thing that I like that I did not see on another truck. So this is your cam locks that give you house power. And it has some meters to tell you the voltage and all of that stuff, keep things regulated. Now this truck is a 2-phase truck, not a 3-phase truck. There is no reason really to go a 3-phase. On this, the equipment's not running that expensive. It does have a generator output, so it must have a generator, but having the option of house power, having the connectors so that you can power from the house instead of running always on generator. When you pull up to a field, generators important. You have to do it. But when you pull up to a big venue or you pull up into a place that can handle the amount of power you need, and you can plug into their power, that's what makes all the better. So you get extra storage on under the trailer. So this looks like a triax cable, some power cables here. So you got all your cables and all your stuff there. And this is the inside. And this is where my wife would love this because she wants to be able to travel. So the one thing that concerns me on this track is all of those monitors. That looks like a heck of a lot of monitors. And every source is on its own monitor. And with today's technology, with multi-viewers and multi-screens and things, that right there, and believe me, I built my very first control room. Actually, my very first one, second. Yeah, my very first control room used that many, if not more, monitors. So believe me, I understand this concept, but believe me, it's not. Now, of course, you got this nice little couch right here, uh, and stuff like that. So this part right here looks like the slide out. So you have to move this chair right here, and this slides back in. So when you're traveling, you're sitting on the couch, and that's what makes that. Um, that's just a different side of things. And then you got your two captain chairs for the driver and the passenger. And then let's see. And this is just another view of the multiple monitors and things like this. This is the switcher that they have in there. I think we get a better shot of that. They never actually show all the monitors on, but Zodiac 3ME. So you can do it. In essence, 3ME means that you have three separate outputs that you can control. You can use an ME to feed into another ME, but that just gets that's another day's conversation. This is the Cryon desk with 2 channels of Cryon. So Cryon is your CG basically. So your overlays, your graphics, things like that. So when you have 2 channels, you can have one bug, just like I have on the multi-viewer, where I have 2 MEs, media players. I can do 2 channels of graphics, one's over the other. Well, that's the same thing with the Cryon, having 2 channels there. This is definitely old school. This is supposed to be a HD truck, but I'm seeing a lot of SD equipment here. This might be an older concept, maybe an older equipment stuff, or maybe all of this is used to upgrade to HD, and that's why they're using this much gear. There's a lot of gear here, so these right here look like DAs. I mean, they could be almost anything, but these look like DAs. Sync generators here. You've got some comm units, frame sinks over here, LCD screens. This looks like a beta deck, a beta cam. It could be beta SP. If I didn't know better, I'd say these were DAT players. Yeah, wow, this is some old gear. Oh, close that. Oh, we didn't even get to the audio yet. Okay. This is a close-up of the shading station here. I'm not sure what kind of cameras they have. They say up to 12 cameras, but I'm not seeing not seeing the 12 shadings. I only see 4 here. And maybe this is where that other 4 go here, and that'd be 8. So this is what you call a router panel. So you can select what you see on your multi-view. These are your vector and waveform scopes right here. These 2. So maybe this is so yeah. So you have 4 here. You've got a master shader right here. If I'm correct, this is your master shading controller, where you select, you can control multiple here, and then you have another 4 panels here. So that's where they say 12, up to 12, and then down here some more frame things and other stuff. These right here that you can't. It's hard to tell what this is. This is a Clearcom. It looks like maybe RTS, but I think it's more like Clearcom. And now, of course, you have audio. Audio, this is an old analog board. So with analog, they have tons of outboard equipment, and you've got DAT players up here. You've got your word clock over here. This looks like a little amplifier for the speakers. I really don't see where the speakers are. That could be anywhere. So yeah, it definitely looks like it needs a little bit of work. But of course, we do have this exhaustive list of what is there. It does say Sony 17-inch monitors. They are HD monitors, LCD monitors. So maybe they're not as big as they look. Or maybe the pictures here are from the equipment. Oh, if I read the diagrams, it would say HD equipped. Current pictures are shown with SD gear. So I just went through all the SD gear and didn't get a concept. It's amazing what happens when you actually read the diagram, read the listing. So HD equipped. Current pictures are with SDI equipment which will be removed and replaced with HD equipment as listed below. Vehicle is already completely wired for HD. Equipment can also be removed and mother codes sold as rack ready only. So they're talking about using the Ross Vision 2 high def switcher, 2ME multi-definition broadcast switcher. You got 3 channels of still store, 2 Marshall 20 inches, 4 Sony 17s, 14 9-inch LCDs. So they're not running a multi-viewer. What they're doing is they're running a 16x16 video router for their video wall. So instead of running a multi-viewer, they're creating a multi-viewer. So in place of this massive, what must weigh, that won't go down. So yeah, so instead of this massive, what must weigh 150,000 pounds of old CRT monitors, they're putting in more just LCD panels, which is fine, but you can get the same idea with just 1 or 2 multi-viewers, and most switchers nowadays actually come with a multi-viewer built into it. So, I'm not really sure. It might actually work better if I buy the motor coach rack ready, where everything's taken out and I just buy the coach. I have no idea what the cost is. And in all honesty, I don't even know. Now, granted, the audio Soundcraft Series 240 40-channel 8-bus audio console. Not bad. Soundcraft is a good mixer. So now they're doing 4 Sony PDWs with a Canon lens, 7 HD viewfinders. 7 2 Vitten 12 and 4 250 Simply Fiber camera cables. So I would assume if they're running Simply Fiber, they've also got with the PDWs, they're running fiber backs on it. So in videotape, if you notice on this list, it says room is wired for 8 Aja Key Pro or Blackmagic HyperDeck Studio Pros, but the recorders are not included. It's a lot of money. I mean, being wired for 8, that's pretty good. And they've got a lot of upgrades here. Some equipment I like, some of them I don't. And I was right. That was a Clearcom system, and they've got room for 4 IFB channels. So yeah, I mean, this is with the upgraded things. Some of the equipment I like, some of them I don't. I definitely don't like the fact that they're running that massive video wall as independent monitors. But you know, everybody's got their way of doing things. And with that idea, this is why the idea and the concept of an OB truck is so extensive. It takes time to put all of that together, figure out what is going into the truck. Because if you buy a truck and start putting little pieces and papers in together, the wiring can get messy, and it's best to just take your time, plan everything out, and see. And but my wife would definitely love the idea of a motor coach. We wouldn't be able to necessarily be able to sleep in it, but that way we would definitely be able to travel, and that would answer the question that was asked earlier about will we have room for the family. All right, so yeah, there at the ton of monitors. They look very old. Yes, and these, yes. So I did not read the post before I actually got it. That was all SD gear, which is where I cut my teeth, is on all the old SD equipment. So I was able to pinpoint a lot of that gear, and which I guess is a good thing, but at the same time, you know, you're not gonna want to watch and be doing a truck that way. And of course, yes, I know Jeff loves Soundcraft. I believe you have a Soundcraft board, don't you? So you may actually know what that Soundcraft board is. It was a Soundcraft Series 240 40 channel 8 bus audio console. You actually may know that. Is that the yeah, you have a GB8 48 channel. Yeah. So how many buses does that have, Jeff, on your 48? I looked up the board and the RV is discontinued. That does not give great confidence in there. So Jeff's board has 8 buses, auxes, and 4 matrix, which gives him a little bit more flexibility than just straight 8 buses. So, but yeah, so I'm actually, so real quick before we wrap up tonight, a couple of things that I'm looking at. One, camera wise, because of my budget, I don't have a lot of budget, so I'm That's cool, Jeff. I like that idea. Each channel has its own separate output as well. That does help when you're trying to do um, a multi-mix, to record multi-channel, so that you have specific, in the broadcast world, recording multi-track is key when you're doing broadcast. So I like that idea. So I'll keep that in mind. The Soundcraft GB8 48 channel. A little bit more than what I need, but you never know in an OB truck how many channels you'll need. So I'll keep that in mind. So the gear that I'm looking at, starting with the cameras, I am looking at the new I am looking at the new camera that just came out. Then I believe if I get, and for some reason I didn't bring this up. All right, Black Magic Design. So with the so I am looking for the cameras, the 4 cameras. Well, I guess I'd be important to tell you what I want in the truck first before I go into the device. I want 4 cameras. I want 2 playbacks. I want 2 channels of graphics. Okay. Audio wise, I want at least 32 channels of audio input with at least 16 outputs. I'll explain why. I want to be able to do embedded audio into the SDI records. I want to be able to do a clean record. I want to be able to ISO all my cameras, all 4 cameras. And I want to be able to have the capability of live streaming to multiple destinations. Now, that's a tall order. Because all that, I gave you the layout of just the basic equipment. So looking at the basic equipment, and Jeff nailed it on the nose. The Blackmagic 6K Pro. That is the camera. That is the new one that just came out. And I would love it if I could run it exactly the way this is laid out. Run one Cat 6 cable, 10G, and power it, run it, have all the connections, have the fiber converter on the backside in the truck, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Using a full servo EF lens. If I can figure out what lens that is, I might actually be able to get that lens, and have complete control from the control room to focus and zoom. Now, if I get PTZ heads for the tripods, then I can even do pan and tilts, focus, and zoom all from the truck, and be a complete one-man position. But most likely, I would want a camera operator on each camera. But if I had to do a gig where I was doing a show without that, and think about it, you have one camera, one cable going to the camera, and the only thing plugged in, you got a couple hard drives hooked up, capturing the raw footage here. You got your record back at the booth. You're ready to go. So that's a camera I'm looking at. The 6K broadcast camera. Now, obviously, I would go with a couple hyperdecks for playback. Now, I did toy with the idea of going with a shuttle, the new shuttle. It's a little bit cheaper, but I like having the flexibility of not limiting myself. So the Blackmagic Hyperdeck Pros that just came out a couple years ago. Actually, I think it was like last year they just came out. So they're new, and the nice thing about them is they have space for full SSD or SDI, not SDI, SD cards, full size SD cards. So you can run on either one. They are hot swappable, and you can control them from the switcher. So, as far as the switcher goes, for the price, you can't. I'm looking at the new ATEM Television Studio HD. They have two different models of this, and with the functionality that I want to do, I would need the Television Studio HD8 ISO. That basically has a lot of the functionality of the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO built in, with a few more features, which we may get into at some point. But I've been watching some videos and I've been watching some informational things about it. They basically have taken a lot of their other features that they've got in multiple layouts, and they have put it into this. And for $1,000 more, being able to have all ISOs right there on the ATEM in one file, believe it or not, it makes a lot of sense. So that is the switcher. As far as audio goes, again, this is a budgetary thing. The Behringer X32 makes a lot of sense. If I can find it, I'll show you a picture of it. And the nice thing about the X32 is I clicked on it too fast. For those who don't know, so the Behringer X32 is a 40 channel board. I don't know why it's called X32 and it has 40 channels. That I don't understand. But yeah, 40 channels, and it comes with an unbelievable my features in there. It has 40 inputs, 25 actual physical channels on the board, and you got 16 buses. So you got essentially 16 different outputs that you can create, and it definitely makes a lot more sense to have that in the board. Now, I would be interested to know if this does MADI out. If it does MADI out, you actually can feed MADI into the new board, and you get all 32 channels brought into the ATEM. Mix that in with your regular mix, and you're getting up there. Jeff says, still wish the new desk was at least 6K, if not 8K, but that's me wanting more for less. Yeah, $4,000, a 6K switcher, that's a high order. I think their largest switcher, I think, does 4K. I'm not sure. Does Black Magic have a 12K? Benin. Black Magic Design products. ATEM Live Production switchers. For me, this does 3G SDI. So the Constellations do 3G, but they do have this mammoth thing here, the 8K Constellation. Now, this beast came out a couple years ago. This will do 8K switching, but it's a two-piece system. It's a full 4ME switcher, 40 inputs, 25 outputs. 24. 40 12G inputs, 24 12G outputs, 4 DVEs, 16 keys, 4 ME players, 4 multi-viewers, 2 super sources, and standard conversions on every SDI. That means you can plug whatever you want in and output whatever you want. So you can actually import a SD signal, upres it to 8K, and output 8K, and it's massive. It is straight up massive. When you think about it, I mean, it looks like it's a smaller version of their 40 by 40 router. You got 40 inputs, 24 outputs. You got your 4 multi-viewers. They're all SDI. That's the one thing people didn't like about it, is that they're all SDI, which means one of two things. You either have to go and get converters to convert all these over to HDMI, or buy SDI monitors, and that's definitely not cheap, especially if you want a big multi-viewer like this. Now, cost. An 8K, 8K. Where's the price? All right, so the Constellation starts at $11,245, so almost $11,300. And depending on which panel you want, you can go with the 1ME advanced panel and switch all on 1ME. But that means you have to go from every ME. You've got 40 buttons per ME, and then you have 4 MEs. You can go with the 2ME advanced panel with 20, or the 2ME with 30 buttons, or the 2ME 40 buttons. So you have all the buttons there, but you only have 2 MEs again. So you'd have to pick one or two. Or if you just want to have every button at the tip of your fingertips, you have the 4ME advanced panel, which literally gives you everything you need at your fingertips. But I actually saw this in real life. This thing is massive, and you'd have to have 6 hands just to be able to push every button on this. But if you're big enough production, it definitely makes it worth it. So, but again, that's 18,485. So now the one thing I don't like about it, you have all these switchers and you have all these cameras, and then they have the camera controller, which controls up to 4 cameras at one time. But you can only connect it to 2 different banks. they may change that, um, and they may give you a firmware update where you can control more than 2 banks. Because at this current moment, you can only control 8 cameras from the 810 camera control. So I really wish they would change that. That way, if you have 10 or 15 or 20 cameras, you can just with a click of a button change from bank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 40 if you have 40 cameras to change. Not that anyone actually out there would hook 40 different cameras up to the constellation. But with it being a 12G SDI input, 40 inputs, you could hook up 40 cameras. And for events like the Olympics, 40 cameras is small compared to what they're doing. They're probably running 80 to 100 cameras at the Olympics. But just as a reference, this is the multi-viewer, this is the constellation itself right here in the middle, and this is that big, massive 40 ME switch. That is massive. But that's not what I want to put in my OB truck. I want to put new switcher. Nope, not that one. I want that one. Just pulled up this image I picked. So that's basically what I want. So that I can, do stuff. So you ask, well, why do you want a truck? Why do you want a trailer? So one of the primary goals for J-Memory is to help people succeed in what they're doing. We provide can't speak tonight. We provide consulting on what they have and what they're looking for and what they're looking to upgrade. But at the same time, there are people out there that don't want to put money forth and provide and get their own equipment. Now, at the end of the day, depending on what they're wanting, it may cost them the same amount to do 1 or 2 events than it would to get me to come out with a trailer, hook everything up, and run the equipment. It may end up costing them the same amount to get their own smaller rig. But you have to consider a couple other factors too. With every setup, it requires someone on their site to run that equipment, who knows how to do that stuff. I've had many conversations with clients who want top-notch equipment, want to be able to run and do more and more stuff, but yet at the same time they can't, simply because they don't have the staff to do it. So they would rather rent something along with an engineer or 2, depending on how big the job is, and get that 1 event or 2 events done, and then on the backside come back and have a good quality product, knowing that they're covered. So that's why I want to have an LB truck. Why I want to have, ideally, I want to have a truck or trailer, and also a studio, a physical building where I can invite people to come and do productions. So that if they want to do a podcast, or if they want to do a quick video or even a long video, they have a place that we can sit down and do stuff, have a set, and all of that takes money, all of that takes time. So the concept starts, and one of the reasons I did this was because of the simple fact that the Word of God says, write down the plan, write down the vision, and make it plain. And God honors His word. He put the vision in my heart, so obviously this is something that He wants me to do, and I'm believing in His time it's going to work out, and that's all that really matters. Because at the end of the day, I'm on God's time, not so, and I want to do this so that I can go into the communities, I can go into the churches, the corporations, provide a top-notch quality product, and allow people to succeed in everything that they're doing. So we'll see where it goes, see where it takes off. Next week, I hope to have a little bit more actually on the computer. I've got a couple diagrams actually on paper that I have not transposed over to the computer. I may start working on the wire diagram, and I might have some sneak peeks at what we're doing here in the actual studio here. So a lot of things are changing, a lot of things are upgrading, but it's going to be a good couple weeks. So stick around. If you're new here, if you catch this on the replay, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification, simply because you'll be notified when we go live with more updates. I am looking at uploading some videos. We've been streaming now for I don't even know how long we've been streaming. We've been streaming for a while, several months, if not almost half a year now, and we did take a short break last year towards the end of the year, but yeah, we've been online streaming for a while, so now it's a time to start putting together some videos and making some content off live and just post some videos. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go away from the live. I like the live. I like the interaction. So feel free to share this video with your friends. If there's something you'd like me to talk about, concept, product, something that you're interested in, then shoot me an email. And you can always reach me at JAmemories.com. Find us on Facebook at JAmemories 2017. Or just simply email me at john@jamemories.com, and I will get back with you as soon as humanly possible. God bless you all. Have a great week, and we will catch you next week right here at the same time, same place on Tech Talk with J.A. Memories. This is John McLauchlan signing off for the night. God bless you. We'll talk to you next week.